Hey there, boys, girls, and flying squirrels. My name's Joe Keyport, and you're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. For this week's episode, I talked to two-thirds of the band Rister. We talked about the band's organic origins, the deep dive into relating and relationships on their debut record, and the theme of teeth. Check it out, it's Rister on the Ear Coffee Podcast. Max and Pete, how are you doing this morning?
Doing well, how are you?
Good. We've been chatting already, but how are you doing on this Saturday? I know you, Pete, you said you've been working. You've had all of 3 hours of sleep since
Probably like four or five.
Hey, that's a little better than nothing. So let's start at the beginning then. Just talk about how you started playing music and what made you want to play your instruments and play in a band and all of that fun stuff. I know it's kind of a potentially digging back a little farther, but...
Very far. I was like 14 or 15 and wanted to pick up the guitar. A lot of metal music and stuff like that. And then I wound up playing bass in every band after, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What made me want to do it, though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You had that moment?
No, I kind of just had that moment. It was like one of those things. My brother actually, he played drums. It was just like one of those, other than skateboarding, it was like the thing we connected on, and we just did. We had a good friend, his parents when we were young, like really supported us actually making music.
Oh, nice.
So we'd like play in the basement. We had like full stack amps and all that. Like every weekend, they let us just let it rip. I don't know. And that was it. And then just wound up playing in bands after that. The love of music never stopped and kept evolving. So
what were some of the bands you played in?
Oh, God. We want to go down that road. I mean, I've quite a few. I met a lifelong friend in high school, and we actually wound up forming a band with my brother. It was called Blue Claw. It was his middle name.
Oh, okay.
It sounded really cheesy, but to us it was like a joke because his middle name is actually Blue Claw. And then
Blue Claw shreds.
Yeah, that spiraled into this like weird shoegaze project called Daylily. I've played in other groups. I've played with a couple friends who like are singer songwriters or they produce their own music, and they just have like a like their own bands. They piece together musicians they know. So one was like Susie was a local project I played with, Ghost Mouth, all sorts of stuff. And then I've got a band called Go for Retro right now, and then Rister as of this past year. So a lot of stuff. I make electronic music on the side. I do crazy.
You're always tinkering.
Yeah, pretty much
musician.
Always,
yeah. What about you, Max?
I guess it all started like my brother got a drum set for it was either his birthday or Christmas or something, like when we were pretty young, and I would watch him drum and I'd be like, I want to do that. And then after a while I started sneaking down there and playing drums and stuff, and he'd come down and bully me and show me how to do it, And then I don't know, I just like kept drumming. I picked up guitar and like a little bit of bass and stuff, and started singing a lot too, and that was like my main focus. I decided to go to school to be a music teacher for a while, and that didn't pan out, but I don't know, I've been playing in bands for a long time now.
The music school. I've done that.
Yeah, blow a bunch of money for a degree that won't make you any money.
Any money, most definitely. What were some of the bands you played in before?
I used to drum for Township. They're like mostly out of Wisconsin. I sang for Molly's Wrist Enemy back in the day. And then, I mean, like, before then, 1,000 random bands in, like, middle school trying to figure out what the hell we're doing,
Most definitely.
The best crossroads. I think the one thing people don't know about this is, so they had, like, the Molly's Worst Enemy project back in the day. We used to share a practice space when I had this Blue Claw band. And we didn't, my brother played drums in Molly's Worst Enemy.
Yeah, that's, like, how we met you.
That's how we met, and essentially we had this practice space, and y'all had like people over one night and got us kicked out. We had like a little like show party. I don't know what you did in there.
I still like to blame that on Dino. I'm going to say it's Dino's fault, but
thank you, Dino.
Dino, if you're listening, it's your fault, and I love you.
Got us kicked out, and then with the whole formation of Rister, I wound up working with Dunn, who's not here, and I had no idea who he was.
Okay.
And then I was making fun of him because his last name was Dunn. And he's like, "What's your last name?" And I was like, "Oh, Sands." And he's like, "I know your brother. I was in this band." And then we figured out that we all knew each other, apparently.
Okay.
Knew each other, but never actually like hung out or anything.
So is that how Rister came together? Because before this, other than I'd seen your band name on like show flyers, I'd never seen you perform. It was just suddenly there was like, oh, there's this band Rister. I don't see any demos or anything out or any singles, and then suddenly there's Flowers on the Fall, which we'll get to in a little bit, and this thing, and suddenly just Rister is a band now with a debut record coming out. So how did the band itself just kind of come together? You said it was just a collection of people.
Well, it was like when Dunn and I realized that we had that connection, it was like, whoa. And Max and I hadn't really even, we didn't talk or anything. No, we were,
not really.
I don't know, we didn't see each other ever.
Not like this.
And Dunn and I had worked together, and we'd, work in the mornings, whatever, and go out and have a cup of coffee, and we'd be talking. And we both love like guitars, music, whatever. And so we decided to jam one day, and he said he had like a little project going on with you and Grant or something else. And
at the time, me and Dunn were just sucking out loud, like really loud,
Yeah. Well, you're doing something. And I was like,
I don't know.
I could use something to do. And so we tried to learn a Pavement cover. And I hadn't seen you in like years, and I was like, yeah, well, you know what? I could jam. I'm not doing enough right now. And so we played this Pavement cover for 10 minutes, and then we wound up cranking out, what was it, like Hideous Gloom or something?
Yeah, that was like the first time we ever jammed.
And we
wrote
just,
that song.
what was that, like a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
And then that was it. So we looked at each other, we're like, yeah, chemistry.
Yeah.
Cool.
We started pumping out songs really quickly, too. Like, faster than any project I've ever been in. And
this record's been done for like a year.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we recorded, last summer, right?
Yep.
Last June.
Okay,
We
yeah.
actually laid down the tracks and stuff.
Maybe even longer. Yeah, I was going to say longer than 6 months maybe. It's been done for a while.
So then, writing this record was very collaborative. Because that was one of the next questions. Is just because I know I had talked to Dunn and Harper's Jar last Saturday for a podcast, and
Great band.
and so just talking to them and how I know Devin drives a lot of that, and then it's also collaborative. And some other bands are always just like, I always bring everything, and then everybody fills it out. How did that? But it sounds like for you, it was just you got together in a space, and suddenly songs were pumping out.
Basically, yeah. It was super organic.
Yeah, I didn't like bring anything. I don't think anyone ever brought anything in. It's just one of those, we had like this ideal situation where we had, this perfect schedule. We could all meet up on Thursdays, and we would just get into a room and just jam. We all had the same kind of like mindset too, where it's like, we just want to make short pop songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, I don't know. I hate to say it's not rocket science or something. It makes me sound pretentious, but it's like, no, we there was something so organic about it. I don't know.
It's super simple. We just start playing and stuff would happen. Be like, all right, that's cool. Something not cool happened. Be like, yo, scrap that. Move on.
I think the only one that I did bring was Headlights, and I had like asked about that because I never got to do like the acoustic song. I was like, I just have to do it. I have to ask if you guys want to, play that song, and then that one turned out to be
love that song.
Great. But yeah, it's really weird.
Most definitely. So you put out your debut record, Different Teeth, about a week ago as of recording this.
Yep.
Right? Is that what has it been like, that kind of reception? Because it's rare that we talk to a band usually after the record is put out. What has it been like seeing people talk about it, or having people come up to you, or are you looking back on the project? Do you have any thoughts and feelings? We'll be digging into it obviously a little more later,
sure.
But just kind of those initial. It's been out a week. You've been probably wanting to put this out for a long time. Like,
I think
it feels good.
Yeah.
I don't know. People have been like, the reception's been good. Other bands have like reposted stuff. I mean, people have been awesome so far. I don't want to say we suck at it, but we weren't the greatest when we plopped it out there and working with God bless Brace Cove.
Oh my God.
But like we had like a lot of like little hang-ups here and there. Life catches up to you and whatever else. But yeah, so far people have been awesome. The music video, we got a lot of good reception for that. We put out the single last year, and that was
right at the end of the year.
Yeah. So people have been awesome so far.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's catching a buzz. I'm all
Every
about it.
response is like, just gets me so stoked to see our friends and people that don't even know us supporting and sharing stuff. Makes you feel really good.
Just feels good to have it out and like being able to like share that with people. Yeah.
How did you mention Brace Cove? How did you all get connected with that label? Because they're one of like two. I mean, you're wearing a Learning Curve Records sweatshirt, which is again one of my other favorite local.
I work with Runner. Yeah.
Nice. So like, how did you get connected with Brace Cove?
Well, we like knew. I mean, we know like Doggy. We know you know Matt and everyone like just from like the scene and stuff. And like, I mean, I've known Alexis for years and years. And so when it came time to like actually get down and try to figure everything out, it was like just shot him an email like, yo, here's the songs, take a listen. And immediately they'd respond and were like, yep, we'll help you. And I was like, whoa, okay. And ever since then, they've just been so supportive and really helpful and very good at organizing and coordinating things with us.
It's just awesome to have like the prospect of like potentially working with someone so that, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, cross promotion essentially, but it's rad that they're doing what they're doing in the Twin Cities right now and supporting bands like that, helping crank out cassettes, all this other stuff. So it's like when it came time to put it out, I was like, why wouldn't we do this? You know?
No, of course.
Yeah.
Did you say you help out with Learning Curve?
No, I work with Renner, yeah.
Oh, okay, I was just like royalty in the building?
No. His Grumpy's is a lot of like Minneapolis history with AmRep and then Learning Curve, a lot of cool noise rock and a lot of cool bands and working there. So.
Most definitely. So then you worked with Jeremy, I always butcher his last name. Tapero with recording this record, which worked with Casual, because you mentioned Dino, and a bunch of other phenomenal bands. Was that, I'm assuming that wasn't your first time then in the studio? Was that your first time in like
a
proper...
For me it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
A proper recording space?
Well, at least with Jeremy, right?
Okay.
Yeah. With Jeremy.
What was that recording process like then?
It was a dream.
Yeah, it was. I was gonna say so smooth. I hate to make it all sound like effortless because it's like, oh, writing the songs. It was pretty easy, and then recording like went in there. Well, I mean, we did the initial tracking for the record all in one day, and these two had like a very, very good relationship with Jeremy.
Yeah.
So you guys knew exactly how to like talk to him, communicate properly, what you wanted. For me, I wasn't like nervous, but I was like, oh man, like I wonder how this is gonna go. Track everything. It sounds really good. And then it came time to do like the guitar overdubs, just like another round of guitars. And I'm sitting in this room and I'm like, what can I do to make this like a little different, you know? Will he let me try everything out? And he totally did. And I don't know, worked out well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Don have like been working with Jeremy for 8 or 9 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like I basically grew up working with him, you know, because
Nice.
I met him when I was 18, I want to say.
Okay.
Which, looking back, is pretty young.
Yeah. How old are y'all now?
I'm 26. Pete,
Same deal.
you're
Okay,
26.
cool.
Yeah.
It's rare that I talk to someone 25, and usually everybody we interview is like 19, 20, 21, and some is like, is these my peers? The dad rock of DIY here. So then did Jeremy serve more? Because I know the roles have blurred. The idea of the producer is no longer really a thing, but also because it's the engineer, especially if you like anybody listens to like Steve Albini interviews where he's like very hard line on that. Did Jeremy have a lot of input on how things should be done, or were you welcome to that, or what was that like? That kind of, I know you, since Max, you've grown up with Jeremy, obviously there's that rapport there, but like what was that?
He pretty much just let us do our thing.
I was gonna say similar to like a Steve Albini thing, like really just trying to capture like the actual sound of the band. That is the one thing I love about this record. Is it? Yeah, I shouldn't say it sounds just like us, but man, it kind of does.
Yeah,
Like, everything was just isolated. There's nothing we like doctored up too much, other than maybe some like some reverb and delay and stuff on the vocals, and other than that, like just really let us go. And any idea that we had for like Headlights has like some weird just kind of guitar ambient pad underneath the whole thing. Like he just kind of let us roll with that. Other than that, suggestions on like if a fill or a part wasn't working out for any of us, just like just try something different. So really, really hands off. I can't really say much else other than that. You know, as far as like producing the record went, I don't even feel like we did. Much of that. Yeah. We just went in and recorded the songs, and that was kind of it.
Yeah. He's always been really good about getting the best out of the performer and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's just a really good coach, someone that you can throw an idea at, and if it's dumb, he'll be like, let's take another take.
Yeah, most definitely.
Just makes you, when you get in the room, it's like, oh, we're here, we're recording, we're paying money to do this. Like, we're in this space. This is awesome. It's go time, too. And he's so mellow and like relaxed about it that you don't feel like this pressure that I don't know, sometimes can really hit if you're like recording in like a nice studio. I've had that before. It's like, oh whoa, like are we gonna be able to finish this? This was like effortless. It was just beautiful. So
Okay, most definitely, yeah. So you put out your second single with a music video for "Lack of Truth," which the band did that. That was tell me about recording that because I there's been like this what I've noticed like a little bit of a resurgence of just bands recording themselves doing what hood rat shit is. Joshua Williamson of Charlie Didn't Surf referred to like that video for Lynn Lake Punk, and so I always love it. It's just you guys running around and like shotgunning beers and
it's mostly done shotgunning.
Yeah.
A lot of done shotgun
this
beers.
morning.
He's still recovering.
No.
That whole day was so much fun. I got a hold of a camera from my girlfriend Rachel. She has a really nice camera and does some film photography stuff, and she was super supportive and just kind of let us like take her camera and run around town. And I still don't understand why she trusted us with it, but it all worked out. We kind of didn't really have a concept for the video.
Okay.
And going into it, Dunn just kept saying, "It's day drink in the movie. Let's go." So we're like, "All right."
He was very adamant about that.
Oh yeah. He really drove the vibe of it, I think.
I was gonna say it was just kind of us. It really was us just like walking around and trying to film. I mean, I feel like I look like I'm lip syncing in the video. You can just tell I'm cheesing,
Yeah.
It's not meant to be taken.
No.
Yeah, it's very lighthearted
Seriously.
and fun, but
It was fun. Yeah. My favorite was there were a couple moments done on top of a mailbox, shotgunning a beer, and this older lady got off the bus and just walked by without a care. Or like there's like a church by my house where we're kind of doing all this, like a parish center or something, and where Max has like a Bluetooth speaker, like in your little like.
in my hoodie,
Pouch,
Yeah.
hoodie, walking backwards, filming me singing this song, and Dunn does like a dive into the snow. I think that's like one of the shots.
Yeah, he's just laying in the snow, passed out.
And right as like walking past the doors, doing this, these people are walking out, looking at us like, "What in the actual fuck is going on here?" And Dunn just gets up and he goes, "We're making art." I beelined it to like my house. I was like, I gotta get out of here.
We can't let them know it's me. It's definitely well, especially like a very like irreverent video for kind of the record's got some heavy-ish themes and kind of because talking about the blurb, because when we did the premiere for the album, I asked Alexis to get us like a little blurb from y'all about what the record's about, and it talks about, obviously you use the allegory of teeth for like relation and connection. Where did that come from?
I don't think I was able to like really piece all of that together until we finished this. I know that sounds really weird, but I didn't like go into making any of this with like that idea in mind. And only after the fact I was like, these songs are like they're like a collection of those ideas, that feeling, like those different teeth, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really odd to like, I don't know, put into words right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like only after the fact did I think of that. Different teeth in and of itself that song was about, kind of feeling dated musically too. Like you said, dad
rock a DIY.
Yeah.
Essentially, like it's like trying so hard to like break into a scene and cut your teeth, and that, I don't know, that evolved into something else. But like having to, I don't know, do all these things to like try and fit in now, it's kind of scary, or it scares me. And then I don't know, tell myself, stop taking yourself so seriously, get over it. But yeah, I don't know, that different teeth idea. And that was kind of something y'all drove home, oddly enough. I didn't think of different teeth at all.
Right. Got to get some credit out there.
I was going to say, that was not me. That was you,
it was
Grant, and
it was
Dunn.
Grant and Zach. Zach Morris,
yeah,
Casual,
cool.
and then Grant from Heart to Gold.
Yeah.
We were jamming for a while, those two, and then me and Dunn trying to come up with the band Space Buddies. So we wrote a bunch of songs, and ended up not doing anything with them,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Maybe someday
Is
we'll
it
go back
Different
to
Teeth
it.
like a song?
Yeah,
right?
we were trying to think. Well, we were trying to think of band names, and Zach was like, "Different Teeth," and we're like, "Dude, that's sick." And then months later, I texted him. I was like, "Yo, I just cannot get Different Teeth out of my head. Like, since Space Buddies isn't doing anything, would you mind if like we use that for like a song name or maybe an album name or something? Because it seems really fitting for what we're talking about." Pete sings about teeth in like 4 songs or something like that. It just kind of like lined
do,
up. Yeah, that was just coincidental. And then they were like, "Yeah, totally, go for it." And so it was very nice of them. And then when eventually we put the thing out and had them on the credits, they're like, "Yo, why are we getting special things?" And I was like, "You thought of that? Okay, never mind." Yeah,
I was wondering
give
why you
credit where
shouted,
credit's due.
shouted them out. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
totally.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so
great guys, great
strange
bands,
to
great
think
musicians.
where all that came from. I don't know. I haven't reflected on that in a while.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
all just kind of came together in the end.
it did. It's odd how that all worked out. But yeah.
Most definitely. Because like listening to the album and like looking into the lyrics, especially with when Flowers on the Fault was released, it definitely is almost, I referred to it as like a dropout kind of party anthem is how I kind of refer to it in the write-up, just because it's like a lot of the only reason I say that is because the loud guitars and it's just fun songs to listen to, as you said, like pop songs. But like you listen to the lyrics, it's like apathy and like stuff like that, and just kind of feeling numb and trying to figure that out, and a lot of those themes leak in along with the other songs on that record. So I'm just kind of wondering where those were coming from, as those like the lyrics and the songs were coming together.
With that one, it was I'm willowing over, pretending to find closure. Like trying to find closure, I guess. So I lost my dad, and like when you have these, I don't know, you have these like epiphanies about like what you're doing with your life. And like white billowing pastime was obviously just like a reference to like when you're sitting around and you're drinking, or you know, you're using substances to like try and run away from something, or you're doing anything like that, you should sit there and rethink things, I guess. So maybe that song is like, I don't know, it's me reflecting on how like I'm trying to get over something. We're all trying to get over something, you know. Sometimes you're just not there. You're kind of checked out. Like that was where that one came from, oddly enough.
What was the if you don't feel comfortable, what was the time period for you losing your dad to these songs?
June will be 2 years.
Okay.
So pretty recent. Like what's that song called? Shut Her Down was like primarily about that one. So like loss, and I know loss is not something that's like special to me, because everyone's gonna go through it at some point or another.
Because like I lost my dad at 16, so like that idea of and the numbness and like that stuff and processing, and
it's that, and then I think it's applicable too to like relationships. We've all, I mean, early 20s, even in the late 20s, like you're gonna have loved and lost essentially. So it's kind of like about that, and just I think with Flowers on the Fault, it's just kind of, I'm reading it over, like I'm looking it over again, like I'm looking back, and it's like, do I regret any of this? No, but it's time for change. It's time for something new. So essentially, just trying to find closure.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha. And then I was wondering, because like when you mentioned Hideous Gloom, I kind of wanted to talk about that song too, and then the song Driver, and we'll get to Headlights a little bit because that was a closer, and that one's obviously a very standout track from the rest of the record a little bit. But like kind of talk me through some of the other songs like Hideous Gloom and Driver, and some of those kind of.
Hideous Gloom. I think those two, Hideous Gloom and Driver, I'm not trying to cover them both at once, but they're kind of applicable to like relationships and stuff like that. Putting your pride aside, like just, I don't know, like it's difficult. People fight. People have like a really tough time, and I don't know, finding a way to put that into words and get over all of it, essentially. Or Driver is more specifically about desire. Hideous Gloom is just about like when it's crappy, and what the best part of tasting blood. I think that's also like that's also a reference to like a relationship with, I don't know, substance issues. I don't have that bad substance abuse issues either, but it's like I question stuff like that, and I think other people should too. I don't know if you're ever having any sort of trouble. I didn't make this just for me, but Hideous Gloom, I think that would be the hardest one for me to like really hone in like I don't know, a meaning behind that song. Some of it's just kind of poetry. But Driver is more specifically like about, lack of desire in like a relationship, and how do you rekindle that fire? How do you, because I feel like people, they just burn out so quick now, they don't want to stick in it for the long haul, or something happens and it's like, hey, do you really care about this person? Do you want to try? I think everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
So
gotcha. Was that in those, what are some of the other themes? Because like trying to think through, because it's very much a diverse in how it handles things the more you talk about it. Because like Lack of Truth, like the second single, that one has, well, I mean, Lack of Truth is a very like defining like statement in its own right there.
Like, it's just kind of feeling like you plateaued. Like, I mean, worrying about your health, actually, that gets really weird. 26 hits and I'm like, oh, I didn't feel good this morning. Like, my back hurts. Even this morning, I didn't go to bed until 5 a.m. and I'm like, oh, was that the right decision? Money governs everything. I mean, like it's just, that one was just like my statement to the world, like, man, this is tough. Where's the truth in all of this? I think that was kind of it. Trying to think of what else I sing in that song, what else I'm saying, I'm trying to say to people. But yeah, it's just like a lack of truth. And then I think the come it alone part's like referencing like trying to find that truth within yourself too. Yeah. Like, I don't know, confront yourself, find that truth, I don't know, define it, make some meaning.
So when you were finally like compiling all of these songs together, that's definitely when you guys found what that kind of that different teeth idea for the record? Or because I know earlier you mentioned it was like you obviously weren't thinking about that stuff going into it, but you had the 7 or 8-ish songs, and suddenly is that where kind of the whole record theme started appearing? Or
that's always kind of happened to me. I hate to like reference this. I love the band Deer Hunter, and I think in a couple interviews like Bradford Cox has mentioned, like that's the way it's always worked out for them. And it's like, what? It's like, well, I write these songs, but like don't read too much into it, because at the end is when like I might conceptualize some sort of grand like overarching idea about what these all mean. But I didn't go into it initially like doing that, and I like that like kind of like off the cuff like idea of like how art should be made. Does that make sense? Like just trying to like crank these songs out, and if there is an idea, like I'll figure it out later. I don't know. That's how that was all.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because I ask because obviously a lot of times, I mean, I don't write music really. But you don't go into the idea of like putting a collection unless you're doing some sort of like big grandiose like concept record where you're like, well, I need a song to link this to this to this. You're not always going to be going into something, especially when earlier. And I don't mean to like distill it too far down. You're just like the band started as a way to like write fun pop songs, short pop songs.
Essentially.
Yeah, but so so now that we've talked, I want to talk about the final track, Headlights, just because listening through it, well, initially it's way different, except for like that little end, like final huzzah. Like it's not the same as the rest of the record. It starts off as like an acoustic ballad with some like guitar pads and stuff like that. Why? And you mentioned that you really wanted to. That was a song. Is that a song you had, Pete, before like the band?
That one's probably like 3 or 4 years old. Actually, I had just gone through a terrible breakup, and I remember sitting in this room in my dad's house and just on my bed, and like that song, I don't know, just kind of came out of me, and I kept playing it and playing it and playing it. And very rarely do I like write a song on an acoustic guitar that I just feel like I have to get out there. And so when the opportunity came about to like approach these two and be like, hey, can we sneak in something different on this record? Like some like acoustic track. And they were both so chill about it. Like Max and I'm like, like, can we do a little like, some brushes, a little bass over it. And then the loud ending, like, that's how that kind of came about. But
yeah, Pete like texted a little recording of it to our little group chat. Me and Don took a listen. We're like, dude, did you hear what Pete just sent? Because that's gold. That is beautiful. Yeah. And just immediately appreciated it and wanted to bring it onto the record. We thought we could make it fit. And I think it is a really good way to end the record too.
Yeah, because I was wondering why you chose to end it that way when it could almost fit anywhere else there. Why end Different Teeth that way?
I think so maybe we were thinking about it, but
Yeah.
with the lyrical content on that one, it just kind of made sense. Like that was this all encompassing, like I don't know, that song was pretty heavy for me. Talk about like running through a pool of blood.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh God. That one really, it encompasses, it kind of leaves the record wide open for me too. Like the headlights are a fever in the dark. It's just this, it's kind of this dark way to end the record. It's opening it up for the next one, I guess. I don't know. It just had to be. I can't really tell you why, but it just worked out that way.
I think what really solidified its place in the record as far as being like the last track was just that smacking ending.
Oh, yeah.
And just
That too.
walking away from that last note. Just
It's like you think we're gonna,
It's perfect.
just let it ride out all
Yeah.
soft, and no, there's still something boiling, you know.
And obviously you just put this one out, so we don't look too far ahead. But you mentioned you leaving it open for the next one. Are you already planning that next one then?
Yeah.
You could go and do another one right now.
No, obviously.
We could pump out an EP tomorrow if we really wanted to, but we've been writing constantly, and I mean, for a while it was like every time we got together we'd have a new song, and that just kept happening. So at this point we have a bunch of tracks that we're still kind of workshopping and putting them together. They're coming along nicely. Really looking forward to get back in the studio, because I think the next one is gonna be really,
Got
really
like
fun.
4 or 5 right now, I think, that are pretty close to being like finished
Done,
ideas. Yeah, the lyrics are there and everything else. So
Is Pete? Do you primarily write the lyrics to the songs, or is that also like everybody kind of shares?
solid.
both?
that's a solid me. Like,
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, like I don't write the songs. I just, you know, and usually it starts out where it's like we get into a room and then we just, you know, we have the idea, like all the instrumental stuff going on. And I'll have like a melody in my head and go home and I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and just type lyrics into my phone and go back to bed. So
Yeah, most definitely. Just wrapping things up, unfortunately this probably won't come out in time for your tape release show, but what are the rest of 2020 looking like for the band? I know, again, it's March, so you still have most of the year ahead of you, but
a few shows coming up, like later spring, early summer, and then I'm figuring stuff out from there. Just trying to, I don't know, either try and get back into the studio or do a small tour run or something like that. We're all busy bees. Dunn's always out on tour he's got the Harpsichord, the Pierre, like he's a very busy fella. So we'll see. We've all got stuff going on, but I would like to just record another one. To be honest.
I'll get back in there.
Play some fun shows. Yeah.
I was wondering if you all were planning on doing tours, because again, now that you've mentioned it, I mean, obviously you mentioned it, Dunn does a million things, and this band is so new. Have you planned anything? I mean, you say you want to, but
For the prospect of it, it's just I'm in like my senior year of college, and we're all working all the time. So it's one of those things too, where they're getting older and older and older. And it's like, oh,
the
how do we
energy
manage
to
this?
do.
We'll get out there.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
I was
get out
gonna say something will happen.
Yeah.
We'll have the time to plan it all out properly, but if not that, just some good local shows for sure.
And finally, where can people find y'all?
I mean,
the internets.
The internet.
yeah, pretty much all of it, right?
Yeah.
We got all the bases covered.
Yeah, you can download the Different Teeth for free on Bandcamp. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty
Deezer.
much. Deezer. Yeah, I still don't know what that
Napster.
is. Literally every streaming platform.
We just have to make a
Facebook,
band LinkedIn
Instagram.
next.
Yeah, that's the one we're missing.
Yeah.
You get the tape through Brace Cove.
Yep, you can order it online. It's like it's pretty cheap. It's like $5.
Yeah.
Tapes $5, baby.
Yeah.
Well, Max, Pete, thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @Ear Coffee. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.